Recording in progress.
Good morning. Welcome to yoga. So, yoga for Monday in August already. Here we are in August. Can you believe it? Time just keeps on clicking into the future. So, hopefully, everybody got the link today. Seems like they're a little bit late. So, I'll wait to see if there's a message from someone to tell me that I have done something wrong. If I did something wrong. So practice today. You see I have a chair. I also have a rolled up blanket, something different than my usual blanket. So we're going to start laying on our backs and come to Samastiti and then gently work into our backs, and then we'll do some holding poses. So the chair isn't the only thing that you could use. I have blocks behind us, so if you'd rather not use a chair, maybe you have an ottoman. We're just going to be resting on it so that we can really sink into opening our fascia, particularly around the calves and the hips, front of the hips especially. So that's the plan, Stan. So shall we come and lay down onto our backs and make sure that we are in the moment? Okay, just checking to see that everything is in order. All right, so let's come to Samasthiti. And so you can place this blanket under your head, under your shoulders, under your low back, or under your knees. When we start to move, if it's under your back, feel free to slide it out. Otherwise, here I go. So I'm going to use it under my head. My hands are by my side. Knees are bent rather than straight as we want some softness through our low back. If you're not using something under your head, make sure your chin is down, not jutted up. Take a few moments in your breath, eyes open, lowered, or closed. And with your next breath, you're going to float the arms above your chest and join the palms together with hands at heart, cultivating the attitude of gratitude. Once again, releasing the arms upward toward the sky. You're going to alternate sliding one leg out, sliding the other leg out, even if there's a bolster under your knees or back, pulling the one leg in and the second leg in. So the pattern with the legs to extend and to draw back. And if your feet don't slide, then you pick up the foot and set it out. Now there's something going to happen with arms. It's a little mental. So whichever leg is sliding out, the opposite arm will go overhead, then both arms, then one leg and one arm in opposition and returning. So you're going mindful, making sure how things feel in your body this practice. Maybe timing it out with your breath. So I'm using a full exhale to make the legs go straight. So right now I'm breathing in and I'm still breathing in, and then I'm breathing out, and then I'm still breathing out. So let's modify as your back allows. Bandhas, of course. Let's float the leg, pull the leg back in grounded. And that may be a bit much, so if floating the leg out and holding it with both legs doesn't suit you, skip that part and keep your foot down. Bandhas, bandhas. Let's go once more. And bring your knees up. Again, if you need to pull out the blanket wherever you put it, feel free. Nice deep breaths. And the feet come down. Now I'm going to rock through the pelvis. So initiate with your pubic bone moving towards your belly button and release. So nothing is lifted from the floor. I'm just tightening through my glutes and curling in and releasing. Now eventually I will rise to my shoulders in a bridge pose, so that can take a little time as you mindfully roll up and roll back down. So keep the process of rolling up into your bridge pose and back down. We're just rolling up and rolling down, timing it out with our breath. When you get to your bridge pose, let's stay up. Stay in that bridge pose. We're going to move to a little movement pattern with the feet, alternating lifting one heel and then the other heel. So let me show you. And you may feel that your pelvis is moving, but try and hold it relatively straight. Come down from the upper back first, down through the middle back, down through the lower back, in come the legs towards your body. Some gentle twisting as I set my feet down. They can be apart or together or a little wider. There are some variations. Move your arms out of the way because you're just gently going to let them rock. Finding the space you can move into without discomfort and pain, making it easy. Moving to your side, coming off of your blanket, moving it away, so mine's already away, and coming to sit. So sitting Sukhasana, look, I can sit Sukhasana. I have improvement. If you'd like to take and sit on your blanket or sit in a chair, you can do that. So we're going to continue on, but a little more for the upper back. So this is the seated cat and cow. I'll turn sideways, just review. And if you don't want to have your legs crossed, remember for a couple weeks I had one leg extended, which is fine. So drawing in through the belly and now rounding through the back. And then using your hands to lift the chest and bring it slightly forward, putting a little curve in the low back. Use your breath. Moving between the two positions. Rising and moving in a circular pattern, moving around, grooving around. Again, taking in the sensations, how are things feeling? Changing the direction of the pattern. So keep remembering the breath and the bandhas, the breath and the bandhas. Bottom of the feet shift to Bandha Konasana, feet in, feet out, hold on, sit nice and tall onto the sit bones on the pelvis, allow the knees to be where they're comfortable, move into the hinge position first, and then surrender second. So this early forward fold, variation on the child's pose, gently stretching the spine. Depending on how long your body has been awake, you might want to be a little careful because those discs that have water in them need to hydrate. So maybe they're not all fluffed up as they should be. Mindfully roll yourself up. Bring one foot forward, one foot back, nice and tall. Better late than never. Right hand goes behind, shoulder draws back, look off to the side. As you return center, you're gonna cross the other foot, get nice and tall, put one hand behind, not looking behind, just looking off to the side. So I make a quick little adjustment. Here we go. And returning back center. So if you popped in late, we started on our back, we did some bridges, and then we did some other stuff. So now we're to the seating position, but you'll see it on the recording. Coming over into the hands and knees, bringing any padding you might want under your knees. I'm on soft carpet and I have my mat. And you might notice I have a chair back there, so I don't want to kick it, so scoot yourself up. So I'm just going to lift one limb off of the mat at a time, not taking opposite arm, opposite leg. And yes, I have my bendy toes under. There's a temptation to lean back, so come over the wrist. If your wrists aren't happy at this point, or you don't like to do that, come onto your knuckles and be sure your shoulders are anchored. Pick an arm, any arm, and let it walk forward, and then raise it. And then just ascertain the feeling of being on 3 limbs. And return. 4 limbs are so nice. And now walk the other hand forward, doesn't matter which one, and raise it off the ground. Careful you're not pulling back into your legs. And bring it down. Be careful behind you as you slide 1 foot, doesn't matter which one. Now pointing the hips down, you're going to raise the leg. And we're going to do something with the chair today, but you can always do it on the mat or with blocks if you don't want to use it. And bring it back down. Knees are not together, right under your hips. Slide the other foot back without a big shift. Raise the leg, working for parallel. In fact, while you're on all fours, feel free to look down so you could see your toe pointing downward. And release. Opposite arm, opposite leg. When you breathe in, stretch away. When you breathe out, come back home, not to disturb your spine. Other side, inhale. And exhale. Just one more time, both sides. And we're going to come to a standing position. In transition, because we've been on the mat for a while, check your blood pressure. You can use your hands to help you or not. and we stand. You can be at the end of your mat, and if you don't have a chair, might want to go get one, or you can use blocks. Let's go a little bit into the back of the legs before we go more deeply into some forward folds. So you see I've separated my feet are parallel. That means edges of my feet parallel. Bandhas, of course. Thumbs at the small of my back, lifting up the heart, sliding the hands over my thighs, pausing here to stiffen or straighten my elbows. Lean into your toes. You feel a little bit of the hamstrings. And maybe that's all you want to do as you look down toward the ground. Shoulders are out of your ears. Imagine a giant pillow between the legs. As you squeeze the pillow, release the hands to the back. Draw the pillow in, lift the heart up. Now you don't have to look up, but you could. And once again, sliding down, feeling free to stay in that modified bookshelf or go over the knees more toward the shins. Squeeze that giant pillow between the legs to protect your back as the hands come onto the back and you rise mindfully, rolling the shoulders back, lifting your heart. Are you paying attention to blood pressure? And one more time, sliding forward, hands over the knees, down the shins, maybe to the ankles, maybe onto the mat. This time you're going to bend the knees, hands on the thighs, keep the head down as you slowly roll yourself up, tending to your blood pressure. So you're on the long end of the mat. Turn one of your legs, and it won't matter which one, as we will do this both sides. So even if you're looking at me off to your side, you can do one leg toward me. So you have that leg, and then that back leg turns in. We know this to be the warrior. And you're going to bend the knee, tracking it, and keep the body facing the long end. We will use this later as we do a flow, but right now, take your warrior two. As you straighten up both legs, turning the toes back forward, if you're at the end of the mat and you're looking over your shoulder, you're going to be looking the opposite way. As you turn the other foot, slightly turn the foot in. Now the hips will allow you to keep facing the long end of the mat as you track that knee mindfully, opening gently through the groins, reaching out with the arms, gazing over the front hand, taking a few breaths in warrior two. Slowly straightening both legs, returning toes forward, and gently walking those legs in. Maybe do a little hula. See how things are feeling. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate with the chair, but you can always put blocks on the floor, so things that you see me doing with the chair can also be done with the blocks. So we're going to go into a big opening for the front of our thighs. Now this can be done without anything, but let me just show you with the blocks first, because you're just going to get in the position and hang there. And you're going to feel like it's a lot of work for your arms, I will tell you that. So once you're either on the mat, let's do one leg back. It won't matter which one. You're going to have one knee back, and it's not under you, it's behind you. And then you can, depending on how tight you are, stay here, move here, or go to the floor. So let me show you with the chair a lovely way to do it. It won't matter which leg, and it won't matter where your chair is. So you're going to have one leg forward as you softly and carefully return to the knee, and you can relax the foot or have the toe under. I'm moving my foot under the chair, so now my knee moves to the edge of the chair, and then I want the hips to sink, And I can either stay propped on my elbows, or if I wanted to rest my head. So we're going to stay here a bit. Allow 3 more breaths to pass. Okay, be very careful as we retreat with this. On your own terms, begin to let the hip go back. So you take that tension off. Right yourself. If you're on blocks, you're going to turn the back toe under, shift onto the block so you can step up safely. And if you use the chair, you saw how to do the chair. So that was about 10 breaths if you were wondering how long. Let's go to the other side. So I put my foot under the seat of the chair so when my knee goes forward, it touches the chair and then it's not going past my ankle. Back toe can be relaxed or turned under, your choice. Hips are being pressed forward. And again, you may want to stay up. You may want to go forward, or you may want to rest your head. And if you were using blocks, it would be much the same. You just wouldn't have a place to rest your head. As you move into your last breath or two, be mindful as you begin to slowly give yourself time, back up the hips. When you're ready, you'll move back to that standing position. So it's big opening into those hip flexors, the iliopsoas. So important because they pull us into being tight. So you're going to do a little movement and balance pattern. So here's what it would look like if you were using the blocks, but I'm going to use the chair. So we just did the bird dog, and so that back leg is going to start with the toe down. Then you're going to turn the toe out and lift your leg. Then you're going to bring your knee up to your elbow. Then you're going to cross your legs, and we're going to do hamstring openings. So let me show you from the blocks. You can just watch a second. So when you get here, get grounded on one foot and raise the leg. So we'll stay here, then we move here with the toe out, then we move the knee up, and then I cross my legs and I go where I can go. It depends on my hamstrings. If you're going to use the chair with me, let's all do this together. Choose a leg, either one will be fine. So you bring your hands onto your support structure, stand on one leg, and lift the other leg. Now, if you're like me on a chair, you're going to have to bend the elbows to get the body into what we would know as warrior three, toe pointing down, hip not open, hip down, so I understand the difference. You may also need to come to your elbows if that were a preference. So right now, you're just trying to be a letter T. Make sure that leg isn't too low, squeeze your bum. Now, opening at the hips. So if I came and turned your hips open to the side of your mat, and you might get a little more lifting out of the leg. So we often do this in like our warrior three. The next position is to move the lifted leg behind you's knee to the corresponding elbow in front. Crossing the leg that's up on the elbow across the standing leg, my legs are crossed. Now I'm going to lower my chest. Be careful, the leg that's behind is going to feel a big pull. Maybe you come down, maybe you go here. If you've bent over a little bit, come up, uncross the legs, and give yourself a moment to stand up and reconcile things. So we can do the other side. Let me show you with blocks. So that might be a variation to do. I like the chair. All right, so you put your hands on your support structure. Now you stand on the other leg as you bring yourself into what we know as warrior three. If you're on blocks, I feel a little lower, so I may need to kind of lift up my chest to try and feel a little more T-like. So we have two sides. How does it feel on the second side? Easier, harder? Opening your hip, opening your leg, lifting the leg. And breathing, I might add. So moving the leg that's behind you up to the same elbow. Crossing that lifted leg across the standing leg, and then as appropriate, lowering yourself. Be careful, it's the leg that's behind you that you will feel. Oy, 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 oy. Support yourself as you uncross the feet and bring yourself mindfully up, paying attention to blood pressure. So those are the movements, and we're going to do them in a repeated pattern at a faster pace. I'm going to come back to the chair. So faster pace means I inhale, I exhale. I inhale, I exhale. Move, inhale and exhale, and then lower, inhale, exhale. And then I will stay down and go right to the other side. I'm going to move my chair so I don't kick the side of my fireplace. Are you good doing both sides? I think this is okay. Maybe not. Maybe I just need to scoot it over here. You all set up? Okay, one leg lifts, breath in and breath out. Open the leg, breath in and breath out. Knee to your elbow, breath in and breath out. Cross the leg and lower yourself, breath in and breath out. Uncross the legs, stand on the leg you've been moving. Breath in, lift the leg, and breath out. Open the leg, open the hip. Breath in, breath out. Move the knee up to the elbow, same side. Breath in, out. Cross the leg, lower yourself, breathe in, and breathe out. Back to 2 feet, and we'll do this one more time, and I'll demonstrate from the blocks. Pick one leg, and breath in, hold one leg up, and breath out. Open the leg, breath in, breath out. Knee to elbow, breath in, breath out. Cross over your legs, lower yourself, breathe in and out. Stand on 2 feet for the last time on the second side. Warrior 3, breath in and out. Open the hip, open the leg, breathe in and out. Move the knee to the elbow, in and out. Cross over the standing leg and lower your body in and out. Uncross your legs, gently return. And we're not going to use the chair just for a moment, so I'll scoot it back. We are going to do a little flow just to get a little more energy going with us. You'll start at the end of the mat. It'll be breath in, breath out, kind of a basic sun salutation. Anything that we do that you go, oh, you can do the option or you can wait. Tadasana. Kind of find your space. We begin. Arms lift and we lower. Lift your chest. Back to a plank. Knees or toes coming down. Baby cobra, cobra, up dog. Lowering yourself. Toes under, hips up from knees or toes. Press off the mat. We come to downward dog, adjusting our feet. Stand on the right foot. Lift your left foot. Raise the right heel, bend the left knee, swing and step forward. Drop the back heel, front knee bent. Either use both arms coming up, or if you need a little help on your back, put your hand on your thigh as you open into Warrior 2. Windmill the arms, back heel up, step back into your plank position. From knees or toes, elbows in, down, and relax. Chest up and down. Hips up first, chest up second, downward dog, and adjust those feet. Stand on your left, pick up your right, raise the left heel, bend the right knee, step forward, drop the left heel. Again, use that hand on your thigh or bring both arms up, Warrior 2. This one more time, back to a plank. Down we go. Lifting, lowering, toes under, hips up. Press to your downward dog. Adjust your feet. Raise your heels. Bend your knees and look forward. Walking, stepping, or jumping to where your hands are. Bending the knees. Imagine a pillow, sit in a chair pose, acclimate the blood pressure. Standing all the way up into Tadasana, one breath. Second time, I'm gonna stand over here. You just do it where you do it. Same series. Breath in, arms lift. Touch the earth, breathe out. Lift the chest to a plank. From knees or toes, coming down. Inhale, going up. Exhale, down. Toes under, hips up from knees or toes. Bend the chest, bend the down dog. Stand on your left foot, pick up your right leg, lift the left heel, bend the right knee, look forward, step and drop the back heel. Rise on your own terms to warrior two. Windmill the arms down to the bottom up, whichever kind of push-up from knees or toes. Baby cobra, cobra up dog, and down. Toes under, hips up from knees or toes. Press off the mat to downward dog. Stand on the right foot, lift up the left foot. Raise the right heel, bend the left knee. Look forward, step up, drop your foot. Support your spine as you rise to warrior two. One more time, down to the bottom of your push-up. Baby cobra, cobra up dog. And down. From knees or toes, hips up. Press back into downward dog. Raise your heels. Bend your knees, look forward. Walk, step, or bring your feet to your hands. Slowly drop the hips. Return to chair pose. Remember, the higher arms are a little more pull on the back, so you could put them at your heart. Burst from the earth, lift to the sky. Return to your mountain pose. And let's get that chair again. So I'm going to pull mine up just a little bit. And yes, you can use blocks. So a little time in the gastrocnemius. So you can do this a number of ways. I think the most simplest is the one we're going to do. But you know, there's the old-fashioned one where you get like this and you kind of lean into your calf until you feel it. So we're going to stay a while. And when we stay in our poses, it affects something called the stretch reflex, where your body feels safe enough to expand. So you may even feel it if you pay attention. You may all of a sudden feel like, ooh, my muscle is stretching. So you're going to use the chair, the back, the seat, or your blocks, and put your hands comfortably. Bend both knees. And then step one foot back, so just your toe is touching. So you could be on blocks and you could be a little lower. Then you want to slowly lower the heel from there without letting it turn. So those feet are parallel. So it could look like this, pressing my heel down into my mat. I could look like this, pressing into the mat. And I could look like this, holding my heel, pressing into the mat with the feet parallel, you be you. So we're in our yoga poses and we hold them. The words in your head are relax, let go, feel safe, to surrender. 2 more breaths. Slowly raise the back heel and step up. Big stuff, huh? So we do the other side. I'm going to turn my chair so I could just show variations. So you bend your knees, you support yourself, and now move the other foot back just so you can touch the toe. Keep your spine nice as long. As you lower the heel, be careful it doesn't spin in. And then you're sinking the heel as you breathe. Give yourself 2 more breaths. Keep sinking the heel, make an impression. And raising the back heel, taking the tension off, and mindfully stepping yourself up. Well, we are opening ourselves up today, and we're going to do the standing pigeon pose. So this is the same as the figure 4 when we lay on our back and we put our ankle on our knee and then bring the knee in. And you're welcome to get on the floor and do that. So the one we do standing has the element of balance. Now I often do this without any support. We go here and then we go here. And you're welcome to do that. But since we have our blocks and our chair, feel free to, when you get into your standing half lotus and you move forward, then if you wanted to hold the chair, you could, or if you needed to walk down, or if you even went to the floor. The fun part is coming back up, so maybe having that chair or the blocks there to bring you back up could be helpful. So this will be a big opening through here. Yeah. So you do the one that you want to do. Won't stay as long. So as you place one ankle on the other leg's thigh, and then either hold on to the chair or put your hands at your heart, backing up your hips, bringing your chest forward. If you feel unsteady, hold on to that chair, or maybe even your legs, as you lower the chest. If you have a chair or blocks nearby and you have more range of motion to go, you can put your hands on the floor. It's not any better, it's just appropriate or not for you. Check in with your breath. So the fun part's going to be coming back up. So you can use that chair or put your hands at your heart as you slowly rise up, testing your balance and standing on 2 feet. Let's do the other side. Having your blocks, your chair, whatever nearby, you place the other ankle over the thigh. My knee is happy to do this. I'm so happy to say. The hands at the heart, and you begin your standing knee bending and your hips pushing back. You go where you can go without pain. If you need to hold on to something, you can hold on to something. If you can progress further, do so, but if not, that's okay. And if you're on your back, that's a perfectly good option. So address all the features that you know of Tadasana with your bandhas in your breath as you make your way coming right back up and standing in Tadasana. Nice. Well, I hope that went well for you, and I hope you used the props that you could. So you can use blocks or an ottoman, and I'm going to use the chair. So we're going to do two inversions. One is putting our feet on the chair and going to a higher bridge than we did earlier when we started. And then the second one will be, you could stand up here or on your blocks or on your chair and put your hands on the floor in our other inversion. So a couple of inversions for us. Make your way to the floor. Elevate your feet. Some people will have their feet at the edge, but be careful not to knock your prop over. Or if your feet are on the blocks, that's what I was going to say. Or you can have your legs just resting. So the idea is to invert yourself, almost like a shoulder stand. So you lift the hips if you wanted to walk your feet back. So any modification thereof, this should not bother your neck. I can still lift my head so I don't have pressure on my neck, but you may have some other issues going on, in which case this higher bridge pose maybe should not be what you wanted to do. If you say, well, this is getting pretty close to a shoulder stand, Karen, what if I put my hands in my hips and put my legs up above? I would say, well, go ahead and do that. If you did go to the shoulder stand, see if you can find your chair safely. Walls are always there. Removing the hands, coming down gently from your upper back, middle back, lower back, and let's hug those knees in. Doing this one more time. Now you can use the prop that I just used. You can use a wall. I'm just going to show you the modification with the blocks. They're not great, but they're an appropriate use. You wouldn't want them on the tall side because likely they'll tip over. So I have mine on the long side. Everybody have their feet up on something, or the wall. Address your bandhas and then elevate your hips. So even with my feet on the blocks, I'm able to get more inversion than I might otherwise be able to do. Now for those of you who did the shoulder stand, if you want to do a second round, feel free to remove your feet safely. Careful if you come out of the shoulder stand and put your feet back on the wall of the chair. And when you're ready, you're going to come down from the upper back, the middle back, the lower back, and once you've landed, you'll pull the knees in. So you may have noticed that is some back strengthening. Now as to the handstand variation, I know palms aren't for everybody, so you can try knuckles, and I'll also show you some forearm. So this would be with the blocks. So I stand on the blocks. Woo, I'm so tall. And then my palms will go here. And then I'll lean forward so my knees come to the outside of my thighs. And maybe I'll lift a foot or maybe I'll lift 2 feet. And it doesn't matter if you don't do one or the other. This one's a little higher. This one's kind of an in-between. So putting my hands or my knuckles. I put my feet high. And if I did the chair, same thing, putting my hands. For the chair, you could be on your knees, and then you would be in your hand. So I mentioned a forearm option, and that would best be done from the low blocks. And that would be knees on the blocks and forearms. So it's kind of a baby handstand, if you would. So get to a handstand position that you would like to do. I think I'll go back to the chair. This is really nice. When we come out of this inversion, we're going to go to a child's pose. So as you come out ever so carefully, creep yourself onto the mat with the hips back and the head down. And remember the option for puppy dog. Mindfully bring yourself up, and that brings us to our inner thighs. So this time we'll do it on the mat on our backs. So these are in my way, I will scoot them off. So I'm going to take this little fuzzy blanket I have, and I'm going to remind you that if you put something under your hips, it does make it a little easier for you to get those legs straight. Then eventually you want to push your hips into the blanket or the towel or the whatever, so that if I sit on this, we have done this before, and roll myself back, my hips are slightly elevated such that when I open my legs to the side, I have a really good chance of being in a good position, as opposed to lifting my tailbone up so I can get my legs, because we want the tailbone down. So feel free to use a prop. If you don't need a prop, that's okay. Grab your toes, grab your ankles, grab your calves, grab your partner and spring her around. Remember, you have a little space under your low back. Can you make your knees a little straighter? Gently bend your knees in. If you have something under, put your feet down and slide it out, because we're going to do what's called the crisscross. So you're going to hold the head in your hands. You can lace the fingers or not. Elbows are not back, elbows are not forward. This is not a bicycle. I know it looks like the bicycle, but it's really coming back to this position. So you'll rotate. Better move back or I'm going to hit the chair. So as I extend one leg out and bring the elbow over, I'm not trying to touch the elbow to the knee. I'm trying to touch the shoulder to the hip. Then when I come back center, I do not go my head back down to the floor. And then I rotate the other way and come back center. Each time you come back center, feel the weight of your head. That will transfer the work back into your core, because the more the head and neck are working, the less the abdominals are. So you feel the weight of the head, and then your core has to function better. So you use the breath out when you're in rotation, And when you come back center, you breathe in. Let's begin. One more. And let your head drop and let your feet come down. Find the edges of your mat with your feet so the knees are apart. You can move your hands, you could leave them there, whatever's comfy. And you're gonna let the knees drop to one side and pause. So the side you're leaning to, that leg should be rested on the earth. The other leg is suspended, and you want to look to the suspended side. Return your head, lift the suspended leg first, bottom leg second. Now I'm going to turn around because I need the space, but you could just go where you are. So the feet are out. You drop the knees the other way, and so the bottom leg actually drops down and the other leg suspends. Look toward the suspended side leg. First you move your head, then you raise the top leg, then you roll onto your back and raise the bottom leg. So we began with the rolling up and rolling down of the spine, and we're going to return to that. So if you like the wide position of your legs, you can leave them there, or you can move them a little closer if you'd rather, or you can even put them together. So let's just come back to our breath. Maybe put a hand on the belly and chest and monitor the breath. See if you can make the breath slow down a little bit, and then we're going to roll up and roll down the spine from the tailbone in concert with the breath. So as I start my inhale, I tuck my tailbone and roll up the vertebra. And as I exhale, I'm going to come down from the upper back, the middle back, the lower back. So go ahead and follow your breath. Now this may feel very different than the first time we did this in our practice. Now the next time you come down, you're not going to let your bottom touch. You're just going to let your back come down and then pull in the belly button, but you should be able to slide your hands under your bum. play with the feeling of pushing your feet or pulling your feet back, or pulling your feet in or pushing your legs out. Nothing is going to go anywhere. Just have that feeling of, what if I push or pull, and what do I feel differently when I do that? So activating some of our glutes. Gently release and relax the glutes. Part the feet once again and let the knees fall inward. Float the arms up, cross at the elbow, and let the hands fall downward so that your elbows make peaks over your chest. Feel the heaviness of your arms and the heaviness of your hips. Now we're going to change the arms, and depending on how your back reacts, you can return to the feet out, knees in, or once the arms go up, walk your feet in and let the knees fall out in reclined Bandha Konasana. If your back doesn't like this, go back to the previous one. Then cross the other arm over, so it should feel different. Let the arms fall by the side of your shoulders. And feel the heavy, heavy arms and the heavy, heavy legs. Releasing your arms, bringing both legs to one side, using your top arm to help bring you up. Okay, so we're going to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Do you know that is actually Shavasana? So if you want to take your blanket and cover yourself up, we're going to walk through our body today. So I'm going to give you a little visualization. So I'll get a little closer to you. So as you get yourself comfy for this important part of yoga practice, and that is being able to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. And so if your mind is all busy, then you're not so relaxed. So now you just find that comfortable position with your body. And then just listen along and see if you can get your body to respond in kind. And there may be distractions. A garbage man may come to your house, or there may be some other ancillary noises, but just kind of keep them away and listen to my voice as I allow you to go inside your body with your mind. And the first thing you'll notice is your breathing. That breath is our constant companion. And then that chatter in your mind, you're just going to feel the head relax. So that all that energy, if you can just imagine all of the little things zipping around in your head, you're going to take all that energy that you're percolating and let it run down your jaw and relax from your eyes. And all that energy is moving down the long muscles of your neck and the back of the spine. And you're transporting this energy through your body, all the tension, all the clutter, all the unnecessary stuff. It's just going to move down your neck, and when it reaches your collarbone, it's going to radiate out from the collarbone to your shoulders. And around the shoulders, like a whirlpool, it'll just circulate around. The energy then, as you breathe, moves down the arm, the upper arm, the inside, the outside, and then it collects more tension and energy around the elbow. As you take that tension and energy and run it down the forearms, inside and outside, down the wrist, and out through your fingers as you breathe, let it go, let it go. Coming back to that collarbone and your vertebra. Visualize any residual energy running down your spine, down your chest, and melting into the earth. So this tension and energy, I mean, there's energy being created by our internal organs all the time as they function for us. So let them just relax. Let them go on their own little terms and rest into the earth. So the kidneys relax into the earth, the liver, the intestines. If they could relax, they would relax. As you breathe, move your focus to your hips. The front of your hips, the side of your hips, the inside of your hips, the back side of your pelvis. Let that just circulate around, collecting tension and energy, and send it down your legs, those big muscles, those thighs, those hamstrings. Let the energy run down your muscles until they reach the knees and run around the knees, picking up tension, energy, carrying it from that joint down your calves, which we stretched today, the shins, over the ankles, and now let it go as you breathe. Let it go from your toes. Let it flow away. So now your body is void of excess tension and energy, concerns, frustrations, anything not being needed right now. And so have a quiet moment until I ring the singing bowl, and let this time be yours. And so it's time to deepen the breath and to wiggle those fingers and toes, to bring the energy into the body, but retaining that sense of calm and quiet. And so some thoughts for us today. Can you believe it? We're in August already. So General George Patton is quoted as saying, "Never tell people how to do things. Tell them what to do, and they will surprise you with their ingenuity." We have expectations about how things are supposed to be done, don't we? And we want others to meet those expectations. Dishes should be stacked just so. Dust first, then vacuum, or is it the other way around? So no, don't take this road. It's too slow. When we force our ideas onto others, though, we not only show that we don't respect them, we miss out on discovering new and interesting ways to accomplish things. Well, that's one way to look at it. So our thought today, if I trust others to do things their way, I may find that their way is better than mine. But I guess we won't know unless we provide them that opportunity to show us. So with that said, move yourself to a seated position. And once you're up nice and tall, relax through the neck and the shoulders. So today, a little different, a little variety. I strive for variety, just ways to move our body and experience it differently. So if you liked how this worked for you, you'll have a chance to do it again. If not, just move on, move on. So sit and open the arms, stretch them overhead, bring the palms together, and the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. And enjoy the rest of your week.